Hello everyone. In our previous tutorial, we used if else if ladder to evaluate exam grade. In this tutorial, we want to see how to use if else if statement to evaluate a user login details. Before you can log in into a system, you must have registered a username and a password. So we want to implement login details using Java. If the username is correct and the password is correct, it should display welcome. But if the username is not correct and the password is correct, it should display invalid username. And if username is correct but password is not correct, it should display invalid password. If neither username nor password is correct, then it should display invalid username or password. Without much ado, let us implement this in Java. Here, I have set up what we need to carry out. So because we'll be accepting input from our user, we have declared the scanner class. Now here, we have a comment to initialize the registered login details. So for that reason, we use string. Let's call that variable that will store what the user used in registering the username information previously as user reg equals, let's say the user registered with 1234 for username. Then for the password registered was root. Okay, we are through that part. Now let us accept input from the user. System, let us first of all display system.out.println. So we prompt the user, enter username. Then we declare a variable that will store what the user enters. So here we say sc the scanner object name dot next line. So that's the scanner method for the data type string. Open bracket, close bracket. Let's copy this. And we have this to enter password, and the variable that will store whatever the user enters when the system comes up will be stored in password. The right hand side will accept the input and it will be stored in pass. Now let us test the login details using if else if ladder or if else if statement. So if, open a bracket, the variable that stores what the user enters is equal. We'll be using the equals method. User dot equals, open a bracket, and we'll pass our parameter. If it is equal to the user, the registered user, which is user registration, we'll be using the AND operator to test that the left hand side is true and the right hand side also must be true. Then the other one will be pass dot equals the variable that the user used in registering, bracket, close the bracket. So if user input is equal to the registered user and the password input in the text box is equal to the registered password, then we want it to display we want it to display you are welcome. Let us change this username to dmac. Dmac. Yeah. Let's change that to dmac. I want us to pass an information here. So the variable dmac should be attached to dmac you are welcome. And what if the password entered, the username entered is not correct? Then we'll be passing the logical not operator here. Not equal to the username, then it should display invalid user name. Then if the password entered is not equal to the password registered, it should display invalid password. And if any of this condition is not satisfied, then it should display invalid username or password. Let's save and run the code. Let's try to enter the correct username, dmac, and the password root. It says dmac, you are welcome. Let's run the code again and enter a wrong password. And let us enter the right password. It shows invalid username. That is because we entered the wrong username. Let's run the code again. Let's enter the correct username and enter the wrong password. It tells us what? Invalid username or password. Now we made a mistake in our code. In this line, there's supposed not to be not equals to. So that is why this part is being generated. I want us to test this part of the code. So let's run it again. Let's enter the correct username and enter the wrong password. Yeah, it shows us invalid password. This portion of code that is highlighted is executed. Now, what if we enter the wrong username and we also purposely or mistakenly enter the wrong password? Then the else block will get executed. So with if ladder, we have been able to implement login details. And this is a concept used in developing software application when you need to design and to code login details for your users. See you in the next tutorial.